In any country with military battles being fought within its borders, look for a dead soldier that was killed by a bullet between the eyes. Should you find such a warrior, bend down to him and ask him quietly to see the Holder of Tyranny. You will hear a loud crack and feel a sudden searing pain before falling unconscious. When you wake, you will find yourself in a ruined cityscape where the sounds of battle echo off the smoke-filled sky. I hope, for your sake, that you brought a weapon. Make your way to the tallest building within sight. Be careful as you move, for the spirits of damned soldiers fight eternally here, and they will have no qualms about killing you with whatever is at hand. Know that they see you as their greatest enemy, for only by killing you can they escape the unending cycle of meaningless life and horrendous death. As you approach the building, the fighting will grow more intense. The screams of the wounded and dying will echo through the decimated streets, and bullets and shells will come from every angle. You will find the entrance to the ruined tower guarded by two otherworldly beasts. Inevitably, they will see you and attack with unnatural ferocity. Fend them off to the utmost of your strength, for a terrible fate will befall you should you succumb to their caustic claws. When you have bested them, enter the tower, and descend as high as you are able to. When you reach the top floor of the tower, you will find a rifle resting against a window. Take it. When you grasp its worn grip, the sound of fighting will slowly die down, until all you can hear is the harsh wind whipping through the streets below. Look out the window. Far in the distance, you will see a figure standing on a stage in front of a massive crowd of lifeless corpses. Sight the person through the rifle's scope. Be sure to aim carefully, for you only have one shot. Fire. When you pull the trigger, the report will be deafening, a crash of thunder through the eerie stillness. When the final echo pauses, the sound of battle will resume, louder and more frantic than before. Check to see if you've killed the one on stage. If you did not, then I suggest you make your peace with God, for you shall not escape this hellish battlefield alive. If you manage to kill your target, then now would be a good time to leave the tower. All the soldiers who heard your shot are headed directly to your position, filled with an unfathomable bloodlust. Move quickly to the stage. If you left the tower undetected, you should find the route fairly clear. If you are seen, you've got a long fight ahead of you. When you arrive, find the one you killed. The body will be decaying rapidly. Bend down and ask, how long will he reign when they come together? The chaotic noise of battle will once again cease. A sickening miasma of rot will waft towards you as the corpse begins to murmur out the story of every despot and every tyrant that has ever walked the face of the earth. It'll show you the horrors that they inflicted on others, as well as the way these madmen deceive themselves and everyone around them into thinking that it was for the greater good. This macabre tale will take hours to finish, but do not be impatient, for the being's raspy voice is what keeps your pursuers at bay. By the time the holder finishes its tale, it'll have decayed into dust. Thank it for its protection and close your eyes. A single shot will be fired, and you'll feel a horrible pain in your head. Once again, you will black out. When you awake, you will find yourself in a field's medic's tent, and the rifle you use will be lying across your body. It'll never run out of ammunition, but for every enemy you kill with it, 2 more will invariably take their place. This rifle is Object 151 of 538. Will you be able to stop him when they come together? In any city, in any country, go to any nightclub or large party you can sneak into. You must make sure no one outside knows you're attempting this holder, or that you have entered the building, or else you will surely fail in your quest. Go up to the DJ and angrily ask him to play the song by the Holder of Repose. Should a look of pure hatred cross his face, then you're in the right place. He will rifle through his records and CDs and find the disc he's looking for. A disc with no markings, no indication of who it is by, or what music it contains. As he searches, do not drop your facade of ire, lest he deem you an enemy. Once he puts the track on, everyone that has joined the party thus far will stop, turn to the DJ, and resume their business with angry undertones. At this point, it is vital that you find the only person there that is calm, despite the music. While keeping up your visage of fury, search the increasingly volatile crowd, and find him before the partygoers realize that you were the person that caused so much hatred. Once you find the person you're looking for, ask him one question. When were they calm? This person will smile sweetly, and then smash a beer bottle over the side of your head, knocking you unconscious. You will eventually awaken in a large meadow, wondering why your head hurts. Stand and survey your surroundings, but make no movements in any direction until you find out what you're looking for. The calm man from the party. Approach him, and stop only when you're about to collide with the person. Ensure that you do not touch him. No one likes it when someone shoves into them, and why would the holder be any different? Proceed to ask him the question again. When were they calm? In an instant, you will find yourself in the midst of a raging battlefield. Look for the holder once more. The dangers of the battlefield will make you search your perilous and tedious. Be vigilant, and ensure that you are not caught in the crossfire between trigger-happy soldiers on opposing sides of a skirmish. If you're hit by shrapnel or a bullet, you'll feel nothing but the searing pain of scorching metal as it corrodes your body and soul for eternity. Once you find the holder, ask him for the last time. When were they calm? In an instant, you will find yourself in the middle of a barren wasteland. Do not search for the holder this time. You'll never find him, even if you spend an eternity rifling through the badlands of this entire planet. Instead, scream at the top of your lungs, when did they unleash their fury? You will find yourself standing outside the first place you ever received an object, with a note in your hand. The note reads, then, now, soon, never. This note is Object 152 of 538. You will not know what each word refers to. The important thing is that they know. Be prepared for when they inform you. In any city, in any country, find the foundation of a demolished building and stand at its center. Slowly rotate counterclockwise 7 times. As you rotate, you must bring your arms above your head and touch your hands together at the exact moment that you finish the 7th rotation. If all goes well, you will find yourself facing west, having been transported in front of an incredibly tall building. If, however, you are facing any other direction, utter any blasphemies that you previously held with your God, for he has certainly abandoned you. The structure will stretch farther into the sky than you can possibly imagine, and its front face will reach to the left and right at least 1 mile. The building will appear to be made of steel, but closer inspection will reveal that it is constructed from a kind of stone. Its otherwise uniform surface will be broken by massive windows that could easily be half a mile in both dimensions. They stretch upward as far as you can see. A door, a massive stone gateway as tall as a football stadium is long, will slowly open and a blinding light shall blaze out. It'll look as if the sun itself is being held prisoner behind the impossible doorway. You may hear footsteps approaching where you stand, but you will not be able to see the figure against the light until she is 7 feet away. Be sure to kneel as soon as you can see her silhouette. Her punishments for disrespect have been known to be somewhat extreme. As she walks towards you, the ground beneath her feet will turn into the same stone that the tower seems to be built from. She will speak to you, talking of the most ambitious architectural endeavors in human history, stories that'll make your mind consider things you previously thought to be impossible. The ideas you conceive could now destroy your mind, dragging it block by block into realms of fantasy and interminable speculation, if you don't have the strength of will to bring yourself back to reality. After what seems like days of kneeling, she will mention the tower. If you have not confronted the holder of the tower, you will feel a crushing blow to the back of your head. Your brains will be forced out of the front of your face, and you'll feel every tear in your flesh, every fracture in your skull, and every ripped muscle and tendon. If, on the other hand, you have obtained the knowledge of the tower where they were separated, stand up immediately and spin around. A statue, one in the exact likeness of the woman who spoke of the tower, will be there, its stone fist raised to bash the brains out of your skull. This is the true holder of the structure. Stare into its eyes and demand, in a voice that could shake the foundations of heaven itself, from what material were they originally created? As soon as the words leave your mouth, the statue will emit a scream that shatters the modern glass in the ancient stone monolith. Do not flinch, and do not cover your ears, lest every shard of diamond-hard glass home in on you and skewer you. When the scream ends, a final spear-shaped shard of glass will pierce the flesh and blown woman that stands behind you, and she will die without a sound, standing up. The statue in front of you will crumble, her body turned to dust, except for a fist-sized, dull red stone, cut with thousands of facets. The false gem is Object 153 of 538. As it created them, so might it yet destroy them. Excuse me, hi, Crappypasta Micah here for a second. A brief interjection regarding Object 154. Try as I might, I can't find another version of this, and for the first time in reading over 150 different holder stories, I am genuinely disappointed. As is much of the holders community, it would seem this thing is rocking a solid 1.17 out of 5. So, you'll find out why as soon as I read it. Here's the thing. It's called the Holder of the Boom, and it repeats a certain word, boom, for basically 90% of the story. Here's the thing. Little rule of writing. Using an onomatopoeia is something that should be done sparingly and for effect. If you're using it too much, it's going to sound stupid. No matter how menacing you make the sound, boom, 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 once can be kind of intimidating. A little bit goofy, but whatever, you can make it work. Boom, 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 something like 30 times in a row, not so good. So, to serve as a lesson, and to take a brief, distracted side route from our usual holders fun, I'm going to read this story as if it were a crappypasta, and I'm going to replace the word boom with the word boing, because it makes it a lot more obvious how crazy and stupid this is when you use a silly sound effect. Sorry to be so salty, but I have to read 500 of these things, and this is ridiculous. So here we go. Holder of the Boom. So, you want to know where the holder is, eh? Okay then, the holder is anywhere, everywhere, and nowhere. Boing, boing, boing! Boing, boing, boing! The world was created in a boing, boing, boing! Boing, boing, boing! Boing, boing, boing! The world resides in a boing, boing, boing! Boing, 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 boing! The world turns always to the boing, boing, boing! Doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. If you want the holder will come. The holder's arrival will be signaled by a storm with no rain and no lightning, only thunder. When this happens, do something. If it doesn't matter what it is. Tap your feet, sing, run, walk. This holder despises the inactive. Boing, 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 boing. We all dance to the boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. We all sing to the boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. We all live to the boing, boing, boing. This sounds like a really bad early 2000s pop song. I'm just straight up. Oh, if the holder finds you worthy, it will speak. If not, the holder will create a thunderclap so loud you will be forever deaf. If it does speak, it'll tell you what happened on that fateful day when the objects were separated and he was imprisoned. When the holder's story is finished, you may ask it one question. What made the sound? Boing, 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 boing. The objects were separated with a boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. He was imprisoned with a boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. They will all come together with a boing, boing, boing. And down from the heavens will descend a single drum. This is object 154 of 538. If hit hard, it will make a sound like thunder. If hit mildly, it'll make a sound like the earth's rumble. If hit softly, it'll make a sound like a heartbeat. Boing, 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 boing. The one who is empty fears the boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. Those from the nether fear the boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. Even he fears the boing, boing, boing. It's not that I don't appreciate that you're trying something a little different. Try harder next time, okay? I know I've written a few stinkers myself. But what the fuck is this, guys? Come on. We now return to your regularly scheduled holders. In any city, in any country, go to any bar at 1:37 in the morning. If it is noisy and crowded, then leave and find one that is less busy. If there are less than 8 patrons currently there, then have a seat at the second to last stool up at the bar. Should the bartender speak to you in an accent that sounds Russian or Greek, order as much of anything as you want, for the holder is aware of who you are, and you have until dawn to enjoy a comparatively painless experience. If, however, he or she speaks to you with an accent that sounds like nothing you've heard before, say, word for word, "I would like to partake of your finest absinthe." Without hesitation, and without breaking eye contact, the bartender will reach down and retrieve an old, dusty bottle of bright, fluorescent green liquid. Without waiting for the customary spoon or even shot glass, you must break off the neck and drink the entire supply. As soon as the last mouthful of viscous liquid oozes down your throat, your vision will swim and you'll feel yourself falling from your seat. Make no attempt to catch yourself. Any grab at the bar will change it to a rack of torture so horrible as to defy imagination, and you'll become its next victim. If you are good at following instructions, you'll fall for what feels like hours before finally coming to rest in a bar that looks like an exact copy of the one you fell from, but with every wooden surface replaced with rusty, gore-splattered, corrugated iron. Stand and the bar will be flooded with a light that cycles through the entire visible spectrum. After the 7th cycle, sit back down upon the same stool you sat in before. In a voice that would make even a demonic entity think twice about bothering you, say, as if muttering to yourself, "I've only come for a drink, leave me in peace." A man dressed in a black satin suit and wearing a black bowler hat will then enter through the door. As he sits down, the bartender from above, now missing a face, will appear and immediately pour the man a drink. Look not at what he is pouring from the bottle, lest your blood emulate that liquid and drain from every orifice in your body. Wait for the man to finish his drink. When he sets it down with a sigh, he will move as if to stand. Before he finishes, say, in a dark tone, "I seek the holder of Muse." Should he continue to leave, you can enjoy an eternity in which every one of your bodily fluids is served as a drink in this demonic tavern. If the holder remains seated, he will emit another sigh. From his mouth will emerge the most amazing, the most horrible, the most awe-inspiring, and the most soul-devouring creations and ideas ever thought in this reality. Listen to them all, and do not interrupt him. When his finite breath runs out, turn and ask him, what is the source of their inspiration? The man will smile and wink at you. From his eye will shine a beam of deepest black and purest white. That beam shall pierce through your eyes, striking your mind. Your new inspiration is Object 155 of 538. All thoughts will now be clear, and no substance, no environment, and no creature from the abyss will ever cloud your mind. But only when you bring him here will you know if it was worth it. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. Ask to speak to the holder of the shield. The worker will casually glance at you, and then to the clock. Out of breath, sir? He will ask. Answer truthfully, and then ask him again. He will nod and lead you to a hatch in the floor made of fine oak that shouldn't be there. He will pull a ring of keys and unlock the hatch. He will motion you in, but will not follow. Upon entering the hatch, you will be in a very narrow hallway. Proceed down the hallway until you find a small door made from human flesh. Knock once. If you hear a very small child whisper to you, you may enter. Speak very clearly. I only wish to talk. If you have been deemed worthy, the door will slowly melt, revealing a small grassy field with a campfire in the middle. Walk to the fire. The small child will whisper to you again, but a different message. How long will you be staying? Do not answer. Instead, look into the fire and do not look away. You will feel small arms wrap around your waist. Are you my daddy? The voice will whisper again. Answer with a no, unless you wish to die a most unspeakable death. The child will then let go, and the area around you will begin to shift. Close your eyes while this happens, because as the rooms shift, you will be able to see into the abyss, and that will drive you to the brink of insanity, if not over the edge. When the room is done shifting, you will hear the hammering of metal. You may open your eyes. There will be a circle of 9 shields. Each one has a different symbol of an unearthly language. The child will then appear before you, naked and bloody. The child will point to the closest shield and nod. Do not make a move. Simply ask, is there any escape? If the child laughs at you, dispatch him quickly. If the child cries, pray your death is a quick one. Once the child is dead, a small dagger will appear behind you. Take the dagger and skin the child. Then take the closest shield and lay it on the skinned remains. If nothing happens, place the shield back until you have found the right shield. You will know when you have. When you are in possession of the correct shield, speak loudly and clearly. I am the challenger. A great statue of a man in black armor holding a shield will appear before you. Bow to it. If you are again worthy, he will bow back. He will pull out his mighty sword and bring it down upon you. Put up the shield. Do not let your thoughts slip into doubt. Have faith that the shield will not falter. If you manage to deflect the blow that would end your life, the shield and sword will crumble. The statue will bow once more and offer you his own shield as compensation. Bow, and then take the shield. A door of light will appear above you. Pull yourself out. The shield is Object 156 of 538. There are things more dangerous than a sword. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls himself the Holder of Mercy. The worker will close his eyes and mumble something unintelligible and barely audible, drumming a short beat on the counter as he does so. Then he will gesture to the counter with his right hand and open his eyes. Reach out with your open palm and the worker will press into it a small brass gear, the size of a dime. Turn away immediately and head back the way you came. Keep your eyes forward. Do not look to the side or turn your head, and push the front door open with the hand holding the gear. If you do not follow these instructions exactly, you will suddenly find yourself outside, some distance from the facility, and any attempt to access a holder thereafter will result in your death. If you are successful in your task, when you open the front door, you will see a child before you with a bandage over her right eye and a cast on her right arm. She will ask you in the sweetest voice if you could help her. Ignore her and stand still, keeping your eyes on her. She will ask you a second time, louder, if you could help. If your silence continues, she will become distraught and plead again with you to help. There will be a single echoing crack, and her left arm will snap, rent in two by some unseen force. The girl will scream in agony, clutching the useless, bleeding limb, and ask frantically for your help. Stay quiet, and do not let your face show the slightest trace of sympathy, or you will very much regret it. If you remain indifferent, her legs will split open, spilling shards of bone and ropes of muscle upon the pavement as she renews her horrible screams, bleeding profusely. Slowly she will stagger forward, though she could not even be able to stand, and call out again as she did before. Do not move or speak. Show no emotion whatsoever. If you manage to control yourself, despite the horrifying sight of this girl's broken body, she will reach you, stretching out her shaking, blood-spattered right arm, tears streaming down her face. Take her hand and twist it as hard as you can. You will hear a sickening, wet, tearing sound, and the girl will gasp in terror and pain, unable to accept your betrayal. Stare straight into her left eye and speak these words. You have not yet begun to feel. Blackness will consume your vision, and you will feel the girl's touch vanish. The faint sound of her sobbing will fade behind you, and you will see a hallway, stark white and brightly lit. There will be a door at the end with a single steel plate bolted to the front as its only feature. Walk towards it quickly, but don't run. You don't want to attract attention. Soon enough, you will reach the door, and all lights, save for the one directly above, will shatter in a shower of sparks. Read the words etched into the plate, and remember them, for you will need them to escape. When you are satisfied with your memory, touch the door and gently ease it open. Before you will stand a man in a long white coat, his face obscured by shadow. Approach him, and he will hold up his hands when you have come close enough. Open your palm to show you have the gear, and the man will nod, lowering his arms. Say this, and only this. When did they become the first? The man will laugh and tell you a story of incredible atrocities, recounting for you the history of the first objects and the destruction they wrought on the far-flung world that contained them. The knowledge itself is anathema to our very reality and could easily tear your mind to shreds if you fail to comprehend it. At the end of the tale, the man will hold out his left arm, its flesh riddled with arcane symbols, unknown words, and other carvings. Around his wrist will be a watch, extremely old and no longer working. Take it from him and whisper the words carved into the door. If your memory is perfect, you will find yourself at the front desk of the mental institution that you use for this journey. If it is not, you'll be privileged to witness firsthand the power of the first objects, for as long as your soul exists. If you have survived, you may exit the facility with no lasting ill effects. The watch is yours to keep. Wear it, and you will always be on time. Your train will never be late. Your flight will never be delayed, and no earthly circumstance will keep you from your appointments. Press the brass gear into the center of the watch, and you will never age, nor will your body show your years. But beware, as long as the watch adorns your wrist, your perception of time will begin to slow. Seconds will grow into minutes, and hours to days. And if the gear is ever removed, your true age will return to you 10 times over. Make use of it carefully, and never, under any condition, let the objects be reunited. The watch is Object 157 of 538. You would be wise to fear the time it keeps. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. Ask the worker behind the front desk to see the holder of respite. If you're lucky, you'll be led to the back of the building and shown a rotting wooden trapdoor. The worker will open it for you. Once you descend, there's no going back. The trapdoor leads to a stony labyrinth, one devoid of any windows, and filled with the kind of golden brown dusty light one might see in an attic in the afternoon. Don't dwell too long on the light. Stay alert and search for the holder, as he's already searching for you. He is a hulking 12-foot tall or taller beast, with the body of legs of a man but the head and feet of a bull. You won't be able to see him until he wants you to, and he doesn't like his prey to see him until it's too late. Keep your wits about you. If you do not defeat this holder, you shall become his next meal. No matter how skilled or unskilled you are in combat, if you manage to fend off the beast's initial blows, the two of you will be evenly matched thereafter. Continue your battle, and when you are ready for it to end, ask the beast, "Where is it safe?" Upon hearing this, he will pause for the briefest of moments, giving you an opportunity to strike before he responds. Attack! If you let him give his answer, you will find yourself horribly outmatched when the fight resumes. You cannot kill this beast permanently, anyway. Time will eventually heal all wounds you inflict, but you can strike him down for long enough to take what you have come for. Assuming you manage to render the holder inert, approach his body and check the hand that wasn't carrying the axe. It ought to be tightly clenching a thumbtack. If not, you'll have to search the ground where you fought. Stick the thumbtack into something, and the stuck item will be hidden from all you wish to hide it from. The thumbtack is Object 158 of 538. Use it sparingly, lest what it hide fades forever from view. Whenever you're at home, call up any courier company and ask to speak to the holder of treachery. The person at the other end of the line will breathe a sigh of relief, ask for your name, address, and then hang up. Before the next sunset, you will receive a large box from that company, addressed to you but with no sender listed. The box will have air holes, but you will not be able to see or hear anything inside. Open the box, and know that no matter what you do, you will not be able to avoid cutting yourself on an edge, nor will you be able to prevent a few drops of your blood from landing on the white cat inside. Your life will be linked to that of the cat. Should it suffer, you will suffer. Should it die, you don't know what will happen to your soul if that cat dies. Should anything happen to you, however, the cat will merely laugh. Your task is to keep that cat alive until midnight, 1 week after receiving the box. This will prove difficult, as the cat will try to end your life in every way it can, and it will happily endanger its own in doing so. It is unnaturally cunning and will try everything it can think of to lure you into your own death. As the week passes, these traps and plots will become more ingenious and harder to thwart, and you will need all your wits and strength if you are to even the hope of survival. If you face the holder of honor, I pity you, you will not survive the week, and your death will be a mercy compared to what awaits you afterwards. If, after a week has passed, you are still alive shortly before midnight, the cat will enter a frenzied rage, launching itself at you and attacking you for the final time. The animal's harmless appearance belies its incredible strength and tenacity, and death at its claws will plunge your soul into torment for eternity. Defend yourself without harming the cat until midnight. The cat will scream, "Why won't you die?" And you must answer, "Because I'm not a traitor." If you give the answer without fear or hesitation, the cat will cease its struggles, look you in the eye, and say, "Then you will learn." It'll scratch your hands and flee, vanishing as it leaves your sight. Go straight to bed and sleep. When you wake, your hands will now bear claws. Those claws are Object 159 of 538. They bring betrayal to all who oppose you. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls herself the holder of the paranoid. If the person at the desk claims that the holder has been sent home, then reply with a hearty, "Good day," and go straight home. Don't speak or share eye contact with anyone, or their words and gaze will haunt you and rend your mind asunder. If the worker flinches and nods 3 times, however, follow her. She will lead you down a clean and brightly lit hallway, with closed doors lining the walls. Each door will be painted a bright color and adorned with a 3-digit number, and through each you will hear voices mumbling. Eventually, the worker will stop at a specific door. If the door is yellow and has a number that ends in 6, demand that she take you to the true door. If she stops at a blue door whose number ends in 9, ask in a calm voice, "May you show me inside?" If the worker refuses, then bow to her politely and leave, traveling the same path you took to get here. Should the worker oblige your request, you must thank her 3 times. Use the same words and tone each time, for if you even so much as stutter, your guide will attempt to end you. When you are finished thanking her, she will open the blue door in front of you. As soon as the tiniest crack between the door and its frame are made, a horrible, guttural screaming will reach your ears. Do not attempt to block it out, for if you do, it will echo throughout your psyche for eternity. Instead, embrace the horrid screams, for they shall lead you on. As you enter the room, you will notice that there are no light sources inside. Standing in the room, you can feel bursts of wind as the howling screams echo around you. The door will close behind you and the screams will stop, plunging you into the silent darkness. From here on out, you must be your only guide. If you find yourself paralyzed with fear, then you've already failed your quest. Hold your breath and count to 7, and a swift and silent death will be your reward. But if you can still open and close your hands and wiggle your toes, then you must take 9 steps forward. With each step you take, you will begin to feel the breaths of many people around you. As soon as you take your 5th step, you will feel the caress of many hands upon your flesh. Do not waver or end your steps, or the breaths will turn to screams, and the light touches upon your body will tear the skin and muscle from your very bones. After your 9th step, the breathing and touch will cease, and out of the corner of your eye, you will see a dim white light hovering to your right. It'll increase in brightness as it comes closer to you. If you turn toward it, the light's source will burn into your retinas, and every unspeakable horror your mind can conceive will take physical form and gnaw at your body, driving you into a screaming frenzy that'll end only after your throat has been torn open. If the light stops in its journey toward you, you may turn to face it. Standing in front of you is a visible man, a bright light glowing from inside him, illuminating his organs and visceral features. He will motion for you to follow him. Be sure to stay close behind him and do not look back. After a while, the visible man will lose his light and will fade to darkness. As soon as this happens, stand still. You must call out with your loudest voice, "It has been a while, I'm here for a visit." At that moment, the darkness will brighten. The room will be revealed to be a warm and cozy place with a fireplace, a bed, table, and chairs, and a rocking chair. In the rocking chair sits an old woman. She gives off a grandmotherly vibe, and as soon as you meet her gaze, she smiles warmly at you and motions for you to sit down. Now you must take a chair from the table and place it 1 foot in front of the rocking chair. Sit in it so that you are facing the woman and her gaze meets your own. Do not attempt to converse with the old woman. If you do, she will eventually fall asleep, and you will find yourself frozen in that place forever. Instead, look directly into the old woman's eyes and ask, "Why does he see them yet not believe them?" After being asked this, the woman will begin to weave a tale. She speaks of all things unknown and dark. She whispers about the things man sees in his nightmares and catches out of the corner of his eye. She tells you of the touch you feel when you are alone, and laughs at the way man flinches as he reacts to visions of his own imagining. At this moment, your chair will be hit with a shocking force from behind. Do not cry or turn around to face the source. where the old woman's shape will melt away to reveal a pale and sickly thing with large melancholy jaws. The thing will scratch the flesh from your bones and maul you until you shuffle off your mortal coil. Ignore the blow, and the woman will continue to smile. She will reach into her blouse pocket and take out a pair of glasses. She cleans them with a cloth before putting them on. She looks at you with them on, laughs once more, removes them, and hands them to you. Blink slowly 3 times, and you will return to the waiting room where you began. The glasses are Object 160 of 538. To wear them is to see the others, and to see the things you wish you shouldn't have.